Right then. Okay, Neil. So look at the left-hand one. This was your before. Okay, as we said, club face, or not club face, posture was a little bit round in the back.
Yeah.
Head down a little bit hunching your sort of setup. Little bit closer with the hands to the legs, okay, causing a little bit of an issue there in terms of spacing, I suppose. But generally speaking, head down a bit hunched, made it tough for you to rotate. Okay, now what you'll find here now in terms of the back, there's a lot of things we're going to see change today that I haven't mentioned. They're just changing naturally based on what we're doing now at setup in terms of the movement, okay? So we want to try and get yourself going through a sequence now. Start with the feet together, club down behind the ball, getting that grip slightly more neutral. You can just see your back there now because you're tilting over with the legs nice and straight, getting a nice kind of straight back there, tilting down, aiming your chest, as we say, down to the golf ball, okay? If your chest is aiming over here and your head goes down, you create that rounded off sort of hunch position, okay? So getting the good posture, getting both hands on the golf club in a slightly more neutral position. I think you've had it more in the right hand. Your right thumb's a little bit more, I think if you have a clock face, a bit more turning anti-clockwise rather than palm underneath facing the sky kind of position, okay? And then from there, once you've got yourself set up, you just set your feet now around in that. Look at the distance there now. A bit more spacing for your arms. Look at the general posture there in terms of your setup. You look a lot more straight up. Your knees probably flex a little bit here afterwards, maybe. There we go, perfect. Okay, so the right hand one now to me is a lot more efficient, more athletic, and much more positive position in which we can turn the golf club from. Now then, the left-hand one was again your before. Look at the length of backswing now. So because you couldn't turn so much, you kind of cheated the backswing, and the club then gone a little bit long. Looks a bit collapsed to me. Look at this one here now. With a better back and the ability now to rotate. There's your backswing now. Yeah. Okay, so the club now is a little strong, which is fine. What we would generally see is the lead arm here. Okay, to be parallel to a frame or two further. There you go. There's kind of your there. So that's kind of how much your club face is closed. If that is sort of 90 degrees there, your club face is 5-10 degrees shut, which is fine. It's a nice little draw on it. Okay. It's not where that club is sort of in there. You can see the leading edge there is almost facing the sky. I mean, that's kind of where your club's pointing up there. So it's a really, really sort of shut position. And again, the fact you collapsed your arms there now showcases the fact you weren't able to rotate as well. So you cheated the backswing by adding another movement into the golf swing because you couldn't rotate. You were sliding and tilting, causing some more problems. Okay. Now as we come back down at the golf ball, good angles coming back in. Shoulder there, staying behind nicely. Head's down okay there, not too far out to the right. We can see the ball now as we go through, hitting the sort of just right side of that line, and then now the through swing, that ball flying down the white line there. Whereas this one here now with the old kind of head dropping a little bit there, dropping and then having to sort of lean back. The club now coming way from the inside. Just see where this ball now starts off there. You can see the ball starting way off to the right. Looks quite tucked up in terms of post impact, and the ball is just flying in that direction there. Now in the past with your slightly stronger grip, you may manage a there, but it could also be that, or if the grip didn't work out effectively, or your hands got a bit blocked off, or less loft in your hands, it's probably going over that way and just still going and going right. And then, as you said before, you would then go, I know what I do, I'll just aim myself over here somewhere, and then that increases the amount of side spin, so now your ball's going to be doing an awful lot of that. But that all generally stem from head down, hunched, rounded back, getting a little bit kind of tucked up there, and not much ability now to rotate. From a better position, we can rotate. That's a really, really good backswing there. And the pleasing thing for me now is that club kind of goes back sort of halfway back there, hands nice in line with the chest, got a shaft point towards the golf ball. As you come back down, it's kind of the same kind of plane, just slightly underneath, which is perfect, okay? Coming back in the golf ball, good strike, and we can just twist through into that ball you see sailing down towards the flag there. With a 5-10 yard draw, and as the last one, maybe the previous shot, onto your green. And that's to do with the same change throughout the bag, okay, through driver, through the wedge, okay? It'd be interesting to see how in terms of your practice that changes the shape of shot with other clubs, okay? What I would suggest when you do practice, okay, so if you keep in contact with me, just drop me some messages, emails, texts or whatever, and say, look, I'm seeing this in my driver, seeing this in my hybrid or 3-wood or whatever. The 7-iron's good, but the 9-iron's this, and my 9-iron's good, and the 5, or whatever it may be. Right. Just keep in contact so we can keep I then got an idea going forward as to where the swing is going. Is it gone too far this way, and you therefore can't control your driver or your longer clubs? Okay. Then we've got to find a middle ground kind of thing, because we don't have multiple different swings. It's basically going to be one circle on a slightly different axis, based on a shorter club or a longer club. It's not you changing the swing. We just swing a golf club on this angle or that angle, depending on how long the golf club is. Yeah. And obviously driving a wedge at different angles in terms of their length. But yeah, overall, try and build this setup. You can see when you do it this way, tilting forward. I would say as best you can, practice standing up against a wall there perfectly straight. Heels, back of the legs, hips, shoulders and head all up against the wall, and just stand there for 30 seconds or whatever, just to kind of get this back used to being taller.
That's the nice thing, is that, like you said, is that the practice when you're in the house is good. Because I can stand in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
Like, stand in front of a mirror, I can look at my posture.
Exactly. And I don't know if we got on here now, when you stood up, if I draw some lines on it, when you were stood up vertical here and the arms there and the club kind of out in front of you, you got a really good posture. So you can practice that but with no ball. So you just put the golf club down anywhere on the ground that's comfortable, and you set up around that. If there's a ball there, you bring your arms in, move them out, and you just be adjusting all the time. So just get used to how this position needs to feel there. And again, from a checkpoint, looking into the mirror there, we want a nice kind of neutral spine there. Like I said, you could go the other way and start kind of S-ing it, but I doubt in this area. You'd have to really get your pelvis kind of cramped down there. I don't think at the moment that's ever going to get down there to any extent. You have to spend months and months trying to overextend that, so that's not going to be a problem, I would have thought. Get a nice hip angle down there, torso nose facing down towards the golf ball, arm hang is great. Grip wise, like I say, you felt weird more so in the right hand, so work on that right hand grip again in front of a mirror, just see how it goes. And then when you, as a check, when you are in that set up position, lift the club up straight up here into that sort of baseball sort of.
Is it worth getting one of those grips?
You can do. I mean, you can get a clip-on one that just goes on top of your other clubs. They're quite good because they just sit on. Obviously, you've got to be careful when you put it on yourself. You put it on the correct way, because if you put it on too far one way or the other, you encourage a stronger grip. I mean, you can buy them online, those sort of clip-on things, or maybe American Golf might sell them. You can get them quite easily, I'd imagine, as an attachment. I think as a club for practice, certainly, yes. There'd be no harm in it, certainly.
Just to keep...
just to get used to it. And what I would say, if you do have one of those clubs, have it at home and just sort of sit there with the club and just hold the club in midair, just wave and just write your name in midair, so you just get used to how your hands are attached to that golf club. Definitely something from that. And that's what I say. I like trying to add as many home practice things as we can. You can do it just in your normal day-to-day life. Or you stood around there watching TV or boiling the kettle or whatever it may be. Okay, I got a 2-minute window. Boom, I can do this for 2 minutes. And the more we do that, it's short chunks. It's more. You can start building that into your practice, can't you? So
it's exactly the same posture.
Every shot, all that will really change from the shots. Okay, so if we put a line through here, that would be kind of your 7-iron posture. The wedge is shorter. There'd be your wedge posture, and the red line here would be kind of your driver posture. And there's just, blue line. There would be your wedge, which again is 90 degrees towards that green line, the blue line. There's kind of your 7-iron.
I did think I was.
And there's your driver.
It's funny because I always did think I was hunched over on my drive.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Again, people get taught from day one, keep your head down. So worse than you can be told, unfortunately. But unfortunately, everyone gets told it. So good stuff. Now, well done.